Hi guys, and welcome to Escape Wheel Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're going to be reviewing the new and improved Phoibos Wavemaster 2024. I received this watch for free. I don't have to send the watch back, but you guys know the deal by now. No matter how I get a watch in on this channel, you're always going to get my honest opinion every single time. And if by the end of this review you want to pick one of these up, I'll be leaving a link down in the video description. It's not an affiliate link or anything like that. That just takes you to the Phoibos website where you can make your choice on the different colors that you can get. This watch retails for $435 US, up to 4 taxes, custom, etc. They have an early bird special where you can save 20% off the price. So use the code WM20 from now until November 17th. And I say act quick because the stock is already pretty low. I believe these ones, the venturing dials, are already sold out. So the watch comes in 5 different colorways that you can see here. There's mother of pearl dials, abalone dials, aventurine dials, which we have today, and even standard dials. And so plenty to choose from, and you can also choose either a date or a no date. So that's nice to see. The watch case is made of 316L stainless steel, has a ceramic bezel insert, sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, screw-down crown, screw-down case back, 200 meters of claimed water resistance Swiss BGW9 Lume on the dial and the hands, and the watch is powered by the Miyota 9000 series automatic movement. So I have had my fair share of Phoibos watches on the channel. I think they offer great value for money with original designs, solid construction, and reliable movements. But I think this is their best one yet. So I say we dig in. And before we do a quick wrist check today, wearing my Fair Suit 4130. Go check out the review for that one. All right, so let's get into dimensions. We've got a bezel diameter of 40 millimeters. Case thickness of 11.7, 20 millimeter lug width, lug tip to lug tip of 46.1, total length of 53.1 millimeters, and sized up for my 7.5 inch wrist. 2 links removed. It weighs 164 grams. So I think the size on this thing is great. 40 millimeters by 46, under 12 millimeters thick is pretty impressive for a 200 meter diver. And that's mostly thanks to the new movement inside. So it's the Miyota 9000 series movement. It allows them to keep the movement or the watch nice and slim. So it's nice to see that they took advantage of that. This thing just wears great because of that. It does have some heft to it. A lot of that's in the bracelet. It is 20 millimeters, tapers down to 18, but it's just a very solid feeling bracelet. So yeah, it is a very comfortable watch to wear. I've had no issues with it, wearing it multiple days. It's been great for me. So so I say we go outside and throw it on my wrist for you. And here we are on my 7.5 inch wrist. I think the size on this thing is just perfect. The thickness is also very nice, as you can see there. It's got a little bit of hook on the lugs there, so it hugs my wrist perfectly. I like the polished chamfers on it. I like the bracelet on it. I think it just looks fantastic. Even under this oak tree, plenty of anti-reflective coating, so really keeps the reflections at bay, and it just makes the dial pop. I think it looks really, really good. And here we are on my 7.5 inch wrist. I think the size on this thing is just perfect. The thickness is also very nice, as you can see there. It's got a little bit of hook on the lugs there, so it hugs my wrist perfectly. I like the polished chamfers on it. I like the bracelet on it. I think it just looks fantastic. Even under this oak tree, plenty of anti-reflective coating, so really keeps the reflections at bay, and it just makes the dial pop. I think it looks really, really good. And here we are on just a simple black cut to size FKM. It looks absolutely perfect on this watch, and I had no doubt. This is a monochrome diver, so it is going to be a strap monster. It's going to look good on a bunch of different color straps, so let's go throw it on some more. And here we are on a tropic style green strap. This is one lifted off of a spinnaker, but I think it looks great. Green and the black is always going to look good in my opinion. I think it looks great. I'm going to note a little bit of a strap clearance issue. This one's butting up right against the case, same with the last strap, but yeah, so if you put this on a thicker leather strap, it might get chewed up a little bit, but any rubber straps are going to be fine, I think. Here we are on another FKM cut to size strap. This one's got a little bit of texture to it. It's kind of a cyan or teal color. I think that looks really, really good. I love it. I just love bright rubber straps on dive watches. And yeah, this one looks fantastic. All right, got one more strap to throw it on, and we'll go back to this review. And lastly, here we are on a CNS watch band's maroon strap, just a simple nylon strap with 2 layers underneath the watch there. Still looking fantastic. No issues with the height on this watch. I think it looks great. And I think you can pretty much throw any strap color on this thing that you want, and it's going to look good. All right, let's go back inside and let's get back to the review. So talking about the case finishing, we have a mixture of brushed and polished surfaces. I think Phoibos is getting better and better. You have a vertical brushing on the top of the lugs there, really nice and consistent. Flows with the bracelet finishing as well. You can just see the sheen off of that surface. Looks really, really good. Sometimes they can get a little dull. This one looking really good there. Horizontal brushing on the case sides, again, nice and consistent. I see no real issues at all. The high polished chamfer is, again, done to a high standard. Nice sharp transitions as well. I don't see any waviness or any any of those lines that we typically see in cheap polishing. So they did a good job with the polishing on this as well. Really happy with that. Flipping it to the crown side here, you can see you got your signed screw down crown here. Nice big crown, plenty of grip on it as well. Yeah, it looks great. It looks really, really good. I've got no complaints with that. It matches the bezel knurling nicely. So yeah, really happy with the crown. Flipping it to the case back here, you can see simple screw down case back. Nice notches for a tool to get in there. So really easy to access the movement if you ever need to. Spec sheet around the outside there. You got your polished octopus, which looks fantastic. The case back, the bottom edge of the case itself, it's nicely rounded. It doesn't feel sharp or anything like that. So overall, it's just a premium feeling on the wrist. It feels really good. I think it looks really good. I like the case finishing that they chose for it. Yeah, it's a very nicely done case. All right, let's talk about the bezel. So the bezel insert is a polished ceramic bezel insert, black on this model. It is fully loomed as well. So each of these markers here are also fully loomed. You can see here, the engravings are not super deep or anything like that, but they're nice and crisp. So yeah, really happy with that. The polishing on the ceramic looks fantastic. The alignment, spot on there. The bezel itself, stainless steel, brushed. The coin edge grip on it is just perfect. The resistance on it is a little light. It's pretty low profile though, so I haven't accidentally knocked it out of place or anything like that. So yeah, pretty happy with that. There is a very, just a teeny bit of play in it. It's ever so slight. The bezel action, I'm going to let you listen to it here. So it is 120 click unidirectional. The bezel action, it's pretty light feeling. The clicks aren't super crisp or anything like that. They're a good audible level. They're not quiet. They're not too loud either. Yeah, it's a good bezel. It's just not the best bezel I've had, but it aligns perfectly. And the fact that I don't think it's going to get knocked out of place at all is a big bonus. So yeah, I do like it. It's pretty consistent all the way around as well. So yeah, it's a decent bezel, just not the best one I've had. All right, let's talk about the crystal. First things first, we'll test it for sapphire. It is positive for sapphire. So it is a flat piece of sapphire crystal with 3 layers of anti-reflective coating on the underside. It's clear air coating. It looks great. Keeps the dial nice and legible. I always say a flat sapphire doesn't need air coating, so the fact that they threw 3 layers on this thing, yeah, it's excellent. I got really 0 complaints about it at all. It doesn't really sit above the bezel either, so it's pretty protected. It's a very simple crystal, but very functional, and it looks fantastic. All right, so let's talk about the dial. So the dial on this one is in a dark blue aventurine dial. For the most part, it just looks black. It's when you get it in the bright conditions like this that it starts to look a little dark blue. But for the most part, it just looks black. And then you obviously have the aventurine, which is just beautiful to look at. Nice and sparkly in the lighting, but just kind of looks, like I said, looks like a gloss black dial under other lighting conditions. So I'm pretty happy with it. You have a sloped chapter ring on the outside there. I will say the rehout depth, so the depth between the dial and the crystal, just razor thin. So they're taking advantage of that miyota movement. Yeah, really, really happy with that. The applied indices are done just perfectly. Everything seems to be aligned just spot on. Get your double index there at the 12 o'clock, single index at 6 and 9, circular indices everywhere else. You have a framed date window here, looking really good. Yeah, I mean, getting up close, you can just see it just looks very nicely done. Really happy with the handset that they chose. Nice and bold, perfect length, reaching right out to the minute track. Same with the second hand there. You have your loomed counterbalance on that as well. The hour hand is nice and big and bold as well. They are faceted, they're fully polished, they look fantastic. They're very simple and clean, and just the whole dial layout is just very simple and clean, but it looks great. The logo on it, people have complained in the past. I've always liked the logo. It's pretty cool. You get your 200 meters automatic down there at the 6 o'clock position. So the whole layout seems very nice. You can get this, like I said earlier, you can get this without a date window, and they do throw in the Miyota 9039. So you're not getting a ghost date position if you go with a no date dial. So that's nice to see. The Lume on this, it's BGW9. I'm going to pop up a Lume shot here. You can see it against a couple other watches in the collection. Typically, I say the Wise is the like the king of my Lume box, and you can see this one actually hangs in with it. I was quite surprised. The Lume on this watch is excellent. It is really, really good. One of the better watches. It's not quite as good as the Wise, but it hangs in there with it, and that's saying something. So Lume on this watch is like a 9 out of 10. I'm really happy with it. All right, so let's talk about the movement. So the movement inside is the Miyota 9000 series. So this one has the Miyota 9015 since it has the date. No date will have the 9039. They're the same movement, just one is without the date, one is with the date. So 28,800 beats per hour. So you have 8 ticks of the second hand every second. Nice smooth sweep there. They hack, they hand wind. They both have a single directional winding rotor. I have not heard it in this watch. So it's a very solid construction watch. Yeah, it's a non-issue in this, in my opinion. Really happy with the movement in this watch. Here's how this one has been running. I honestly don't know what it is. I haven't timed it. I will time it after this and pop up the screenshot here. But the Miyota 9000, they've always been very accurate for me, so I have no doubts that this one is pretty accurate. I haven't noticed any time drift on this thing, anything out of the ordinary, I'll say. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with these movements in general. They're operated by this 3 o'clock screw down signed crown. Again, nice big grippy crown, plenty of grip on it. You get a nice pop out of the Miyota 9000. The first position is your hand winding, super smooth. Second position is your date change. Roll it forward, it changes the date there. Everything is centered in there nicely. And then the third position hacks the movement every time. This is where you set your time. Everything seems to be aligned nicely as well. Press it in. Starts up the movement every single time, and then the screw in action, the screw in action picks up the threads every single time as well. So yeah, no issues with the crown threading. It is a crown where you're winding the movement while you're threading it in, but the winding, the hand winding on this watch is pretty light, so you're not really fighting that when you're threading it in. So yeah, it's pretty simple to use. I've got no issues with it. I like the movement choices. Yeah, they're great. I've got no complaints with it. All right, so let's talk about the bracelet. So the bracelet, it's 20 millimeters and it tapers down to 18 millimeters at the clasp. It is a 5-link bracelet, solid links. You have screw pins for adjusting. You have solid end links as well with quick release spring bars. The end link fitment, pretty nice. There is a little bit of a wiggle there. It doesn't really translate to rattling on the wrist or anything like that. They are male end links, which I know some people are going to complain about. I think they flow with the case nicely, so really it doesn't make too much of a difference. But yeah, it's just something to note there. But I do like the way the bracelet looks. I think the finishing on the bracelet is very nice. I think the finishing on the end links is very nice. The one thing I complained in my GMT version of this watch, the cuts in this, the machining on this end link are pretty soft and pretty rounded, while the actual links themselves are pretty angular. So that's something I'd like to see, a little bit sharper transitions here, just to kind of flow with the bracelet a little bit better. But other than that, that's really all I can complain about. The bracelet feels very good. The tolerances are good. It doesn't rattle. It doesn't pull hairs. I haven't had any links hang on each other. The bottom edge has been rounded nicely. I mean, there's like I said, there's just not a whole lot to complain about. The clasp that they use, it's very nice. It's one they've used in the past. It's brushing on the top with the nice branding there, brushing on the sides, brushing on this chamfer here. Everything is rounded off. It's a good size. It balances the watch head nicely. You have your polished pushers here. They're nicely rounded as well. Good feedback on those. Everything feels good, nice and solid, fully milled on the inside. The tolerances inside here are very good, and it is an on-the-fly clasp. So you release this button here, you kind of pull it down, and that releases out, and then you can just push it in. You don't have to press that button. So you can just push it in and get the right sizing. So I usually throw it on the wrist a little long and then push it down and get it tight. So yeah, overall, very, very happy with the bracelet on this thing. There's only one thing I would change really is kind of the machining of these end links, to just tighten them up a little bit. Other than that, it's been a great bracelet, very comfortable, and I think it looks really good. So there you go, guys. That is the new 2024 Phoibos Wavemaster with the Miyota 9000 series. A little bit thinner, a little bit more refined, but the same overall package. I mean, you're getting good bezel, really good crystal, killer lume, a nice bracelet with on-the-fly clasp and quick release, and a 200-meter diver under 12 millimeters thick. Yeah, it's great. It's an awesome package, and the price $435, and then less the 20%, which is I mean, that's just a killer deal for a watch like this, in my opinion. Even the $435 I think is a very good deal, considering some of the competition that this is going up against. So yeah, I mean, it's a good deal, and I just like the way it looks, and I think I've finally found the Phoibos that's going to stick around in my collection for a very long time. So I think that's it for me. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.